Bonjour, c'est le Mag, et cette fois-ci, comme dirait Cyndi, n'appelez pas ça un comeback, parce que si Cyndi Lauper est de retour, elle n'est jamais partie. Son nouvel album, très étonnant, contient beaucoup de chansons, dont le nouveau single You Don't Know, et c'est un grand honneur d'être avec Cyndi Lauper, ici même aujourd'hui sur le Mag. Hello Cyndi, it's very nice to be with you today. First, as Ella Cool would say, don't call it a comeback, like you said earlier.
Oh, no, well, you know, I was just saying, okay.
But is it, can you tell us what was the conditions that you had for doing this record? Because I think it was not in a specific studio like it's done generally, 12 hours in a dark studio. How was it?
No, we record. It was a home studio situation. First in mine, actually first in Jan's home studio, then in mine, and the two of us recorded a lot of the stuff, and then we kind of had to get it together. We played it for the record company. We played it for Mark Saunders because we were looking for somebody like him. We started on this path of making this kind of sound and record, and we needed someone to come in and fill it in. We didn't want to change it. We just wanted to, like, modernize the loops and, have somebody who ran the machine. I wanted an engineer and someone who played, who could be part of us, so it would be like a band and not like an outsider. Because a lot of times, an outsider is exactly what that is. They don't understand what it is you're trying to get at, and they're not involved. The minute someone plays on it, they understand exactly what's going on because they've connected musically. So in that respect, it was perfect for us. And I think that had I done it differently, I might never have played guitar. I actually played guitar out of necessity. Because at 5 o'clock in the morning, I sat in my little studio. Jan, I had driven to Extinction. She just went to go lay down because she couldn't take me anymore. And because I was sitting there going, got to do something about that hook. Got to hear it, So, I wanted a guitar part, but first I used the dulcimer. And Jan always said, well, the dulcimer I feel comfortable with because it's just a drone, and I like that drony sound, And I got so desperate, I just tuned the guitar and figured out a lead part. And so I played it. Don't ask me how I played it. But then I got Jan and we were listening. She goes, well, my dear, that's called style. So, she's my English interpreter. When I come to France, I have a French interpreter, but in England, I have an English interpreter, and she's it. But, no, It was great. It was a great experience for me because she's my bandmate. And that's how you would make music anyway. And this way you can experiment. You can do things. You can try things. I'm a bit of a barbarian with sound. I don't know the technical stuff and kind of don't care. It's what I hear. So if I hear an effect, I'll turn it up to 10 first. Want to hear that? Okay, that's what it does. And bring it back down and fiddle and hear. I don't know what the heck I'm doing. And
you're like a remixer then?
No, we were recording. That's different.
About the different guests, there's a lot of very talented musicians, but one name that caught me was Chong Chong Typhoon. Because,
you know them?
Yes, because you know what? I've even seen them live. And you know what? They are the first and only band I've seen who was offering a glass of champagne to the audience at the end of the show. It was magic. There were like 12, 15 of them. It was 4 years ago in Paris. They did a concert in a small venue because there was no record, no promotion. They were basically here because they shot a TV program for a French TV show. And they did this concert out of the blue. Nobody paid to get in because,
I know.
And it was like, magic. And at the end, pop the champagne, little glasses, divine.
They are magical. And, when I heard the harmonies, because they're very Okinawa sounding.
You met them in Japan? Or?
Of course. I went to Japan. I've been there so many times. I wanted to, we work in a field that's answer-response, right? That's modern music. The drum, you respond to the drum responds to you. Everything around that responds to each other, right? Well, when I heard them, I was looking for a group from Japan to work with. I've been there so many times, and you can't just sing out all your music. For me, I needed to take in. I needed to, I'm in Japan all the time. Sometimes I think I am Japanese, you know. So, and I think they think I am. Well, I told them enough times I was, so maybe they think I am. But I got to work with them, and I thought that if anyone, they were my kindred souls, you know, somewhere else, because they mixed things together, and the Okinawa harmonies kept grabbing my ear, and I kept imagining them with loops and what it would sound like to mix us together, or if I could just get my hands on that and this, and anyway, it happened. And it was the most extraordinary experience because they truly feel the same things, especially the singers. You know, for me, I'm a singer, so I love to be around birds. And I was around birds. There were so many birds in this place, and you heard them in the morning. Like if you went for a walk, it was on a mountain. So, well, kind of a hill. I thought it was a mountain because I was trying to run them. They thought it was a hill. So anyway, there was a lot of fog in the morning, and then the birds would sing. And one time, I was really lucky enough. It was an enchanting place to be. One time, I was really lucky enough to hear the birds chanting back and forth. You know, there was the tui that goes, and then the other one, you know, back and forth, and, right? So it was going, and he had this rhythm, and I started to whistle with them, and they let me in to their little chant. It was the most remarkable thing I have ever been included in. And when I told Emmy this, they felt the same way. They just finished doing a record in the, you know, not outside the woods, but a house in a wooded area. So they were around nature. And it makes a world of difference because there's such a thing as interior rhythm, you know? And that's what we shared. And when they sang on Mother, oh my God, it was, you know, we even did it live in Japan, and I felt like, okay, I can die now because we did this idea, and I kept looking at Jan like, we did it. We thought about it, but we actually did it, and here we are now, we're doing it live, you know? There are some great moments like that for me, but well, when you start talking about Chang Chang Typhoon, I told you all the stuff. I get busy, so it's on the move. But it was the best experience. It was such a journey. And then when I did the promotional tour, I did a tour with drag queens. Did you see the show? I had the drag queens come and sing, Hey Now.
No.
When I redid Girls Just Want to Have Fun, I was unsure until I played the gay games. When I played the gay games, I knew, yes, this is for all the girls now. And when I saw the back of them go on the stage, I thought, I have to film this because the people out there are not seeing this. So then the video happened. But after the video, then I became really and truly enchanted by the idea, because I had to do a promotional tour without my band. I figured, drag queens, background singers, dancers. And at first I wasn't allowed. And then I told them, how about, you know, I met Annie Lennox. And Annie Lennox was going out with the male dancers. But she said the dancers. So I said, fine. I said, I'm going out with dancers. And then all of a sudden, I did this stuff. And it was so inspiring to me, too. I became really close friends with one of my dear friends, Chris, who is in the video, Chris Tanner. And he's an artist. And he told me some extraordinary things. And it's one thing when you see drag queens, but when you live among people who live a certain lifestyle that you don't, the affection that I have for these people that I worked with, I wanted to show the human side.
Beyond the surface of the...
So, we wrote Cleo and Joe, the Ballad of Cleo and Joe, and that's for them. That was for them. But it was from going to the clubs only seeing it through their eyes, because of course I go to the clubs, I love the clubs, but to dance and see it through their eyes and have that experience with these particular friends, I wanted to write for them. So, you know, I wanted to make sure it was the right thing, because I wanted it to be empowering. The same as Sisters of Avalon, the song is very empowering. I wanted this song to be empowering for people.
In terms of lyrics, when you write your songs, would you say that this album, maybe more than some of the previous one, is telling something about you personally, even though it's not necessarily stories about you? Do you think that the overall feeling gives an idea of what the real Cyndi Lauper is, if you read between the lines? Do you attach, is there a link between the creation of the songs and yourself personally, or?
Oh yeah, it's my temperament. Even I have to remember that. I sometimes, you know, I want to be like this, and I want to be like that, and I have all these wild emotions, and I get anger, and then I get depressed, or I got this, or I get completely giddy. And then I have to take a step back and say, okay, it's the same person singing those songs. Listen, pal, that's you. So deal with it, you know. And so I've been trying and learning more and more about myself. But I think all the work I've ever done, I really sang from the center. I try. When I couldn't sing from the center, I felt the songs like In a Night to Remember. Some of those songs didn't work because I was trying, because everyone kept saying to me at that time, the people that I was working with, why can't you be like everyone else? You know, so I kept trying to be like everyone else. And
it's not good to be like everyone else.
No, but
anyway.
The songs weren't me. But these really are. This is more me because it's the instruments I always play. I always played the dulcimer because I love it. Since 1989, I played the recorder, but I would never, ever bring it out in front of people and play, because I always felt like, oh, I can't play, I'm not good. But with my writing partner and my bandmate, with her, we had simpatico. Is that how you say? I don't know how you say it in French.
Special touch, something.
We have good compliment. We complement each other with writing. It's easier. You know, my first writing partner was my sister when I was 11. So it's kind of nice to be writing with a woman who's in your band. And I was in a band with my sister too, but that didn't last.
And being, last two questions, being a solo artist and with all the pressure that there is on a female solo artist, because after all there isn't that many, what was the...
There's plenty. There's plenty now. Well, it's evening out.
Look, I'll just give you a brief example.
Okay.
Why is Evita, the movie, so criticized?
Criticized?
By the cinema critics, it's terrible. Everybody's saying, oh, it's bad, it's bad. But the movie is brilliant.
Pretty?
I've seen the movie. It's
I haven't seen it.
Oh, it's really good. But the point is, it's because Madonna, who is a woman singer and who is a strong woman, is seen as, you know, she wants to be more than what she is. I mean, every time a woman comes to do something that's big or, you know, important, it seems that she's criticized for being a woman who wants to be, you know, and you never see, you know...
And you've never heard that story? Typical, right?
Yeah, typical.
But you gotta admire her, because she just gets up and does it. But so I always say, yeah, go for it. And now it's so wonderful, because she won a Golden Globe, and she has a baby, and she's happy. And this is what she always wanted in every... I mean, I'm just like everybody else. I mean, I met her once, but I kind of knew her peripherally. And she worked with people that I worked with. But we were always, you know, work takes up a lot of time. So I always knew from her interviews that she kind of she wanted a kid. And now she has that. She has a family. It's wonderful. It's really inspiring. It really is.
Last question in the...
Hey, poor guy, come on, make those answers shorter. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
No. It could last 1 hour more, but hey. Yeah, tell me about you as a solo singer. How did you see... do you think that your work is the result of an evolution in terms of musically, or would you say that everything was there from day one? What did you learn when you
Oh, I
started
learned a
this?
lot of stuff when I went solo. But now I've come full circle. I started out as a singer-songwriter in a band, and now I'm a singer-songwriter in a band. Even though it's Cyndi Lauper, scary to talk about yourself in the third person. I don't mean to sound like a nut job. I don't think of myself like that. But now it's really the sisters. I got some brothers with me, slamming players, and when we play, we're a band. And that's what I always wanted, to go back to being a singer-songwriter in a band. It took me a long time to learn how and find the right people. You don't, you know, the first success, you know, it's like you fight, and then you're successful, and you're kind of confused
You
because...
tend to avoid to go crazy because, I mean, that's obviously the first thing that can happen, no? It drives you...
You, first of all, you're fighting to get there, and then all of a sudden, and you want this to happen right, and that to... No, I'm not that, I'm this. No, blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden, you're there. And then you make a second record, and you realize, I don't really have to fight, I'm here. But I couldn't find my band. And then, even though I played with great musicians, I learned about production, I learned about arrangements, I learned all through this time period. But maybe it took all of that to get to this. And if that's the case, okay, fine, I'll take it. My path is not going to be like other people. Even though, as a person, you can always sit back and look at somebody's life and go, why isn't my life like that? You know, I can do that. And all my life, I looked at my friends or my colleagues and I said, yes, I'll live my life like that. And then proceeded to live nothing like that. Nothing like that happened to me. So then after a while, you realize what's going to happen is your path. You know, the only thing I try and do now is, you know, if it looks rocky, I mean, really hard, maybe you don't want to go down that road, you know. But the work, I want to do great work and leave that behind. I don't want to leave behind something that has no feeling, you know?
Yeah, no flavor of the month type sensation. Well, I think with the sisters, you're here for a couple of years.
Oh, well, thank you.
Really. Thank you very much, Cyndi.
Thank
That
you.
was a pleasure, but toujours. On aurait pu rester des heures, et là, c'est déjà fini. C'était le mag avec Cyndi Lauper, dont le nouvel album, je vous le rappelle, est sorti récemment. Cyndi, merci beaucoup.
Oui, peace.
Peace, effectivement, c'était le mag. Vous voulez nous écrire 3615, code MCM, rubrique courrier. Merci. Thanks.